All right, Pops, Toyota, they are in trouble. Don't give me that side eye, Dad. Don't give me that side eye. Sales are down for Toyota through the first quarter of this year. Dad, things at Toyota not looking so hot. Sales are down, transaction prices are up, incentives are down. Toyota's been struggling for inventory worse than anyone, it seems. We've got, Dad, Toyota sales for just Toyota, not Lexus, down 11% year over year, about 400,000 vehicles sold. We've got fairly dismal sales of their electrified or their alternative fuel models, the Mirai, for example. Lexus sales, like you said, they're actually up 6%. And then incentives, Dad. Incentive spending is down 31% year over year. The average incentive on a Toyota, less than $700 per vehicle. So Toyota has made a conscious business decision. You can't be this long into the chip shortage and still saying you're having inventory, problems just because of the chip shortage. Like no. Go look at Stellantis. They're figuring out how to make way too many, cars and trucks. Go look at GM. They're figuring out ways to make way too many cars and trucks. Toyota has made a business decision, Dad, to undersupply the market, driving prices up, slashing their incentives, making it a smaller market share but higher profitability company.
It seems to be that way in the United States because the reason I say that is their total production of vehicles broke 9 million for the year, okay? But apparently that increase in production, that they're not sending those cars to the United States. Those cars aren't coming to the U.S. market. They're being produced for other markets. And so, yes, they've decided that apparently in this market that they are going to remain in short supply, high prices, and low incentives, because you don't need to spend a lot on incentives when there aren't enough cars to go around, and the customers are not only willing to pay MSRP, but they are willing to pay MSRP plus dealer additional markups. So I think it's more of a localized North American market than it is a worldwide market for them as far as production.
All right, Dad, you can sell your car on CarEdge. What's the deal?
The deal is you just plug in your VIN number and we'll get you offers from local dealers in minutes.
Seconds. CarEdge.com/sell.
Okay.
I think you make a really strong point, Dad. I think the title of this video or this conversation could be Consumerism in America fosters higher profits for automakers as fewer can afford vehicles, because you're spot on. These are intentional business, like we're going to talk about here in a second, Dad. The average transaction price for a Toyota, over $42,500. You want to buy a Sequoia? You could have an out-the-door price of $100,000 on a Toyota, Dad, on a Toyota. And that's not a knock on Toyota, but holy cow, man, why? Like, how is that possible?
That's a good question, because the reason they became a popular mass market brand was because they served consumers at lower price points than where they are today. 3 years ago, you would have never thought that a Sequoia would be $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. You just the most expensive vehicle that they made at that time would have been a Land Cruiser, not a Sequoia. So it's just, before we got on to film this and you showed me some of this, my response was, my God, it's a flippin' Toyota. Okay. And I don't think I used the word flippin'. They're not supposed to be this price. They're just not.
So, Pops, look at this. This is another example of why we can say with conviction this is a business decision from Toyota. So nationwide right now on the CarEdge car search, we have 1,410 new 2023 Sequoias for sale.
Yeah.
Okay. And we know the average transaction price went up 30+% year over year. But you can start to break this down, that 1,410, by trim level. So for example, if I go to the capstone trim level, one of the highest trim levels, I've got 400 in inventory. But if I pull in the limited trim level, which is the lower trim level, there's only 100 $182. It's the same idea if you go for the TRD Pro and the SR5. You can just see that they have put more of the high trim level vehicles in the market than the low trim level vehicles. And then you have dealers adding additional dealer markups on top of this. This is not a recipe for success. This is a recipe for short-term profitability and tarnishing relationships with millions of loyal customers. Same thing's happening right now with the Sienna. The one bright spot for Toyota is if you want to go get a Camry, we are starting to see some downward pressure on price there because there's a little bit more inventory. But this is the same story for Prius Prime, RAV4 Prime, the Sequoia, the Sienna, and this company that we all think of so highly is truly tarnishing their reputation in North America because they have adopted this business model. And it is not because of the chip shortage, folks. Look no further than Stellantis.
My guess is, and this is strictly a guess because obviously we haven't spoken to anybody at Toyota directly, but my guess is that the reason they're doing this is they know that they have to make a massive investment moving forward into truly battery electric vehicles. And that is their intention through as formulated by their new CEO. So they're using these high profit margin, highly expensive vehicles to be able to underwrite their future investment in electric vehicles. And we are seeing all the legacy manufacturers basically do the same thing. They're all bringing out the more expensive, higher profit margin vehicles because they need those profits to underwrite where they hope to go with electric vehicles. And that's what we see happening across the board with all the major manufacturers. And I don't think Toyota is any different.